Hey everyone, this is Recap Rewind. I'm NB,
I am J-Lag.
and we are doing an international Skype Recap Rewind.
Yeah, across the world.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're recapping Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 8, titled
Episode 8.
No One.
What's it called?
No One.
Oh, all right, all
Get
right, all
it?
right. Got it.
I'm just gonna start off
So,
by saying this, in my opinion, was probably the weakest episode for this season.
you
What
know
do
what I
you
want to even add to that? I want to say the last 3 episodes have been some of the weakest episodes I've seen this season.
And I totally get it. Like I'm like, okay, 6 and 7, okay, 6, fine, cool. You guys need a break because like the season's has
Right.
been off the hook.
Right.
7, okay, like you're getting somewhere. I get it. Like you're setting things up, cool. But now I want like
Yeah,
like a
and
good episode.
not gonna lie, season like this episode, episode 8, I was telling NB I'm gonna be away for some of the best episodes, and episode 8 especially is when all the things happen,
Usually it's
and
episode
things
9,
happened.
but like yeah, like
Yeah,
episode 8's pretty
like
good
things
too.
happened, but things didn't happen at the same time.
No, I have to say 6 and 7 were better than this one. Like this one had
Uh,
moments where I was like, okay, like come, I'm done. Like at least six
but
and seven, like they were like Benj and Star came back, like big things happened. Where this one was just like, oh, okay, like Arya,
this was
cool.
close. This was closing up a lot of the storylines that were kind of introduced by 6 and 7. Kind of it accelerated from that point on. So it kind of closed off a few. So I guess that's a good thing because then it allows episode 9 and 10 to kind of have a fresh what's gonna really happen next.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
funny because I was reading this thing this morning, and someone was writing how the previews for last week, so like the preview last week for episode 8 was all like showing that something was gonna happen. Like they showed Cersei's
Mm.
close-ups being like, I choose
I
violence.
choose
And then
violence.
like
Yeah.
Arya's like jumping off buildings and then like Brienne rolls
Fucking
up.
parkouring all over the fucking
Yeah, like
city.
Brienne like rolls up to Jamie. She's like, "What are you
Yeah.
doing?" And like you're like, "OMG!" There's gonna be like 3 huge
It's just gonna hit the
battles.
fan. Yeah.
And literally, what happened was Brienne came to Jamie. He was like, "Truce, like I don't want to fight." And then,
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get into that part.
like
We'll
it
get
was,
into
but
it.
it was just like they amped up
Yeah.
like 3 major fights, and none of them happened this episode. So that's basically
Yeah.
why this episode was
Yeah.
lame as f.
Yeah.
Okay,
I would
so
agree.
we start off in Bravos, and it's sort of like the scene when Joffrey dies in Cersei's arms, and they're reenacting it in this like play. And Lady Crane is like holding Joffrey's body, and they're like whatever. She has like her little monologue.
But this is kind of like the twist, right? Because before Arya didn't kill her because she copped out at the end of it all, she basically gave her notes. She was like, uh, Cersei in that moment, because I think her original monologue was sad. She was crying. She was upset about the fact that Joffrey died. But then Arya was like, no, she wouldn't just be sad. She would be angry. She would be vengeful. She would want to seek revenge.
Mm-hmm.
So you see in this monologue that Lady Crane kind of took her note and was like, okay, cool, I'm going to run with this. And
So
kind of
cute.
rewrote that scene where she was angry at the end of it all. And everybody was applauding her and they loved her. So it was fucked up.
Yeah. And then she
Um,
gets off stage, she like walks to the back. And then
yeah.
what kind of sound? It was like some like whimpering or like some like
You just heard some
banging sound.
rustling or yeah,
Yeah, and
it
then
was
you
weird.
go, yeah, and then you go and she sees and it's like Arya bleeding basically to
And it
death.
was funny because during during our off weeks whenever we're in between episodes or whatever, I always message NB if I can talk to her. And I think I did end up saying that to you cuz the question last week was what's going to happen to Arya? She was bleeding to death basically, what's going to happen to her next? And I think I threw out the theory to you was what if those band of playwright people kind of help her out? And I
Mm-hmm.
think you mentioned that Sam was going to intersect in this storyline, but that didn't happen this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So what we see is the whimpering of Arya just basically bleeding to death, and Lady Crane coming to save her basically.
Yeah. So Lady Crane takes her back to her apartment and she's like cleaning her wounds and like whatever. They're having like a cute moment together.
Yeah.
And then she gives her milk of the poppy, I think, and then she kind of just like
You also kind of learn also kind of learn about like what Arya's plan is beyond what's gonna happen, like, after she's saved or whatever. So yeah, so basically Arya explains like she wants to go past Westeros. So she says like I want to know what's beyond that. So you see that like Arya's she's still a bit of an explorer. She's kind of in a sense cut ties with her family, but at the same time she still wants to like be free and open. So that's kind of like what you hear in their conversation with each other.
Mm-hmm. And then she goes to milk the puppy and she's like, go to sleep, whatever. So she
Yeah.
like passes out. And then we cut to King's Landing and Cersei's all up in her red keep. And the
Yep.
Faith militants like come in. They're like, yo, like you have to come to the throne room or whatever. She's like, no, no, no. She's like, I'm not gonna come. She's like, I'll stay here and tell that guy, whatever, High Sparrow, to like come and see me here. She's like, I'm not leaving
Right.
here. Obviously,
I guess it
she
could have
doesn't
made
want to
more in.
leave. She's like kind of scared, but like she's not really scared because she has the mountain. But like for sure, like she's scared.
Yeah, she's you can tell in her face that she's pretty nervous about what
Yeah,
could go down if she disobeys.
yeah.
Especially when she sees like this band of like people coming at her,
Right.
you
So then
know?
they're like what, 5 or 6 guys, and then like
Yeah,
they're like, no, if you don't step aside, like violence will ensue. Like we're gonna have to like get aggressive. She's like, go
and then she
ahead.
says and then she says her like epic line like I choose
Yeah.
violence.
Like you
Which
don't do anything though. She just like stands there.
it's so funny that you said it because I didn't even watch the trailer, and when I saw that part, I was like, really? That
Oh
was totally
yeah.
like a Fed line. It was so like
Yeah.
it was so unnecessary, and you can tell that like they did it literally just for the promo,
Yeah. Oh, Hundo. Yeah, it
right?
was such a good
Which
soundbite.
is kind of annoying. Whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so one of the like Faith Militant people, they like take an axe and they like hit it into the mountain's chest, and obviously nothing happens because his steel freaking armor is like crazy. And then I couldn't even watch this part. I closed my eyes, but like, did he rip the guy's head off?
Yeah, he
Did they
basically
show
like
it?
takes the guy's skull and he like rips it
Oh my
off. Which
god. Did they
he
show
doesn't.
it?
They don't show it. They don't
Oh,
show it.
okay.
But
I
it's
couldn't
really
watch.
fucking. It's really brutal,
Just
really
like just like remembering
bloody,
what he
really
did
gory.
to that guy. What's his name?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I can't watch
Um.
this again. Like I can't watch a head explode.
Yeah. No crush. No skull crushing, but pretty freaking close.
So basically, he kills one of the Faith militants, and then they're like, okay, peace. Like we're going.
Yeah. They're like,
We
okay,
ain't gonna
sorry
be
about it.
here
She's
long.
like, if he wants to come talk to me, then he can come here
Yeah,
because I'm not going anywhere.
yeah. And then I don't know what happens like later. Like they come back to her, and they're like, now you need to go to the throne room.
No, no, no. So I mean, I guess are we just going forward with that part?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so basically she like walks into the throne room and like she's just I guess going for a walk. I have no idea. It almost feels like there's like a skip in a
Yeah,
scene or
that's what I mean. Like I
something.
don't remember that transition where like why did she go into the throne room? Like did they
Cuz
ask
she
her?
cuz I guess she caught wind somehow. I don't uh, um actually I don't know because you don't remember how like the guy her like maester or whatever was like have you heard the rumors? The rumors are true. The thing that you want me to look into, it's true. Do you know what I mean? And
Okay,
is
but
that what we hear during that episode? Like when they give the news about like what's gonna happen to her?
oh
Like, is that
man.
what he was talking about, or was it
No, I don't
something
think so
completely
because that was
different?
after. He said that after.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. You're
Okay,
right. Okay, sorry, I'm kind of mixing the
so
timeline.
basically Cersei walks into the throne room and she like runs for the VIP area in the front, and then the guy like
Yeah,
stops her. He's like, where are you going? Like you
yeah,
can't
like
stand
her
here.
uncle.
She's
Yeah, her
like,
uncle's like you
she's like, what do you
can't
mean?
you
Like
can't sit with us.
I'm sitting by my son. He's like, no, no, no. He's like, you have to go back to the gallery. He's like, you don't belong here. And
Yeah,
it was like, oh my gosh, she was like
burn.
burned, slap in her
Yeah,
face.
burn.
Like since the beginning, she sat up there always.
Yeah.
She's been able to like be there.
You know what's kind of messed up though, and I obviously hate Cersei like with like a desire, but at the same she's a mother and she feels betrayed by her son, like she feels like this kid who like she's wanted everything for and lives for her son is like basically betraying
That's her
her. It's
worst
so tight.
punishment, though, for sure. That's the worst
Yeah,
punishment when like your
yeah,
own kid like basically sees you for who you are, and she's an evil
so true.
witch. So anyway, so she gets shafted to like the like lawn seats, and she's like
Yeah,
sitting there, And then
Watsy,
and
yeah.
then what's his face? Tolman's like, okay, I have an announcement. He's like, there's been so much corruption in this entire kingdom. He's like, I'm gonna like abolish trial by combat because he's like, it's so obviously like a corrupt way of like of like
It's
the
such
court
an old
system.
school way of
Yeah, like
doing things,
he goes,
basically.
we should no, he's like, we should go back to the old school way of like just doing the seven gods or whatever, right?
Yeah, because it's like too barbaric to like
Yeah.
kill someone.
And then obviously, like, camera pans on Cersei's face because she's like,
It's like,
holy shit.
oh,
What do I do now? Because she was banking on the mountain. She's banking on the combat trial. Like, what is she going to do? But also, my
she's
question is,
fucked.
what happens when you are found guilty by the seven gods? Do they kill you?
I think so. I think it's like pretty. I think it's a pretty not great situation.
Not great.
Not a great situation to get into.
Not good for Cersei. So anyway, so then her like Qyburn, whatever his name is, like creepy Qyburn, he like rolls up to her. He's like, I did that thing that you asked how many weeks ago, and I haven't can't say it because it's like suspenseful. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what thing that you like checked up on
And
that your
the
little
audience
birds
is gonna have
told
to
you
wait
about?
another week for
Yeah,
the
I'm
next
like, bro, like what is this like freaking hide the secret? Like just say what you were doing for her. What is it? Like a rumor?
Yeah, we're gonna have to
It's
find
like
out.
another like Frankenstein person? Like what is
Oh,
it?
I don't know. We'll have to see. But what do
So
you think it might be?
freaking I don't know. She's blackmailing someone for sure.
Do you think it's like do you think it has anything to do with like Littlefinger?
I don't know. Cause like what can he do?
Then
Maybe he
again,
has
nothing.
I don't know. Unless it's
Nothing.
about the High Sparrow.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
But either way I feel like she's going down. So like whether or not you know this rumor, like
Yeah, she's
you're done,
basically
bro. Like you're
she's
done.
fucked.
You have no more
Like
cards.
they like state her like the day of her actual like trial. It's like it's probably next week. It's like the Mother's Day or it's basically like Mother's Day, which is kind of ironic, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it was like the trial will be held on the day of the mother or whatever, so it's kind of like ironic that like this is happening to his mom on Mother's Day, basically
Mm.
like King's Landing
So
style.
it was such a beautiful scene because then you see Tommen walk back out with like his whole posse around him, and
Yeah.
she's sort of looking at him like she kind of had a smile on her face too, though, like almost like she was
She
like proud of
had kind of
him.
like no, I think it was more like a hope. Like she was like this like deep and like
Oh,
hopeful sense of like, is he gonna come through for me at the last minute and like embrace me and be like, no,
I
you're my
almost
mom,
took
I
it
love
as
you.
like she's proud of him for like making these big decisions. Like he's sort of putting his
Dude, he's gonna
I don't
basically kill
know.
his mom, so
I
I don't know
know.
if
I
she's
don't
very
know.
happy about that.
Like at the
I
same
don't
time, I still want to believe that she wants her kid to like rule in a good manner. But I mean,
know.
it's Cersei. Like I don't know.
No, because I think the thing is, like, she knows how like corrupt like the High Sparrow is, and how like he's basically twisted his
Yeah,
mindset.
yeah, yeah,
So she's more upset about it than anything else. She's like,
yeah,
I couldn't control him. I couldn't do something to like get him away from this fucking psychopath.
yeah. True.
So I think she's just more like worried, upset, scared, and like scared for him too, because she's like, what's gonna happen to him if something
Mhm.
happens to me?
Mhm.
Because like Jamie's not there right
True.
now
True.
either.
True. Okay. So speaking of Jamie, we leave King's
Yeah.
Landing and we go to Riverrun, and Jamie's
Okay, so
still.
before we move forward, I think I would just want to say really quickly, and this is a perfect point to say it because we see a scene with Pod and Bram, which was a very cute scene because they haven't seen each other for like years, I guess, and they're like talking about like sparring and stuff. But what I've noticed about this particular episode was it was filled with a lot of like really long, empty filler moments, and
Yeah.
this was a filler moment for me. I was
Totally.
like, sure, it was nice to
Like
see
it
them
was
together
cute.
again, but like
Okay.
it was
Like
completely unnecessary.
yeah, and then he kept talking about like his penis, and I'm like, okay, like we
It's
got
like we
this,
get
like
it, we
we get
know. Like I
it.
remember, like,
Like yeah, no, no, for sure. As soon as it happened, I'm like, oh god, I'm like, this is gonna drag out, and it totally dragged out way too long.
it,
They were
it wasn't
basically
like a
like,
5 second scene. It was
Braun
like,
was
let
like,
me teach you how to like
yeah,
fight. I was like, what the
yeah,
fuck is happening?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
Braun's like, what do you think they're talking about in there? What do you think they're saying? I'm like, I don't know. What if you just cut to that
can
shot?
we
Can I see what they're
can we
saying?
go there?
Like,
Can we go
hello.
there now? Yeah,
Anyway, so we
exactly.
basically get into the tent and like Brienne and
Finally.
Jamie are having a moment.
Yeah.
Whatever, she's like, I'm here to like, ask the Blackfish to come and like save Sansa. Like she needs his army, whatever, whatever. And I don't know, man. This scene was weird too. I felt kind of drawn out.
Do you feel like there's like they're trying to put them down for like sexual tension? Because I know
Okay,
Bran says
so
it.
that was my question. Do you, when you watch them together, do you want them to like kiss?
I mean, no offense to Brienne, like whatsoever, but I don't see her as like a terribly sexual being because she's such a noble knight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never seen her like really like feign any desire for Jamie or for anybody
Right. So when
really.
you're
So
watching them two together, you don't at all like pause and be like, "Oh my God, just kiss," or like hug.
maybe
No.
with Jamie, I'm not really like maybe like I see Jamie have that kind of like view when he sees her. He's kind of like, oh, it's her. But I don't know. I feel like they're just friends.
Yeah, and I was reading something today too, and they were like kind of insinuating there's more to it than that. But I don't know. Whenever I watch them, I'm like, I don't want them to kiss. I love how they are
Yeah,
together. And
I
when
do
I was
not ship
watching,
them whatsoever.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, when I was watching Inside the Episode, the David Benioff, he was like, he said something really cool because he's like, Brienne makes Jamie feel some type of way, like an undercurrent. Because it's almost like she makes him
She's the first
feel
one that like
good.
called him out,
Yeah.
right? Like she's
And
the
he's
first one that was able to humble him and
and
transform
take
him
a
into
look
the
at
person that he is
himself.
today.
Like forget sexual
Yeah,
feelings. It's more about like as a human being, like who are you right now?
precisely,
And those are the
precisely.
feelings that like I love to feel when I watch them together because she's like, bro, like she's calling him out. Like,
Yeah, and I
you
think that's
know?
pretty accurate. I feel like they have a very honest relationship, a very like close and honest relationship, regardless of like who their houses are,
I just
like,
wonder if he
who they're
loves
fighting
her.
for.
Like, does he love her like that?
I mean, he just loves her as like, and respects her as a human being, like you said. I
Yeah.
think that's all it is.
So anyway, so what happens there after that? So then
So
Brienne
yeah,
asks
basically he
him.
says like you can go ahead and try. You have till nightfall to figure it out. And she's like, okay, cool. Thanks for like letting me go and check.
Yeah.
And
So he's like,
and
don't
so
worry,
she
like he's
does.
stubborn
So she
too,
does.
whatever.
She's able to go in, and then she talks to the Blackfish is like, I don't know who the hell you are. I don't know who Sansa is. She was like a baby when I last saw her. I have no allegiance to her whatsoever. So Brienne tries to play as many cards as humanly possible. She's like,
She's
you have an
such a
obligation
drama
to your
queen.
family. She tried so hard. She really did try
And
really
then
hard,
she's
but like,
like, the part that killed me was like, yeah, after she tries, and he's like, no, I'm not coming with you. She's like, Podrick, send a raven. Tell Sansa I failed her. I was like, okay,
yeah, I
relax.
was like
Like,
literally waiting for her to say it as it was happening. I was like, like Pod, write down I failed because like she's gonna say it in like
I'm
20
like,
seconds
girl,
from
you
now.
just like you've done so much for her. Like, don't worry. Like, she's gonna forgive you. Like, relax.
I mean, it kind of sucks because at the same time, like Sansa was basically like, do what you can, and like I trust in you. So
Yeah,
she was giving her a lot of like, she was putting like a lot of faith in Brienne to like pull this together for her.
yeah,
But the
true.
Blackfish, like, when I don't even think if Sansa came over, I don't think he would have budged either way. Because like
And
his
like
situation was
clearly
kind of
this
shit too.
episode was such a waste. Anyways, we'll get to that to the end. But yeah, so
Yeah.
she doesn't it doesn't work. And then during that time when she's like trying to convince the Blackfish, Jamie goes and talks to Edmure Tully, who actually
Which is the
owns the
nephew, yeah.
castle. He actually has the rights to the castle and to some of the guys that are in the castle. So
Right,
Jamie kind
because
of
he
like books that,
it's
and he's
him.
like, okay, I'm gonna try to use this and try to like talk this guy into like letting me in like peacefully, right?
So
So
he does this like
they had a
rigmarole fucking
10-minute scene, eh?
conversation.
Like their conversation was long.
It was long.
And it was too long.
I don't think Edmure's been on screen for that long until
No.
this
He
episode.
hasn't had that many lines at all. Like he's literally had like no lines before this.
And even so, he didn't have that many lines. He was just like, "Get me out of here."
Well, no, he was like, "You're evil. You killed my whole family," and then he's like, "Okay, I'll let you in, bro." Like,
Yeah.
what was the point of that? But yeah, Jamie basically like says that, nothing will ever keep him apart from his sister. He's in love with his sister. He's as whatever he can do to get to her as fast as he can, he's gonna do it. Whether that's killing Edmure, whether that's killing the entire freaking army, he's like, I'm down to kill everyone. And then Edmure was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna like have to like do something then.
Yeah.
So they let Edmure, the Blackfish lets Edmure like walk in. Well, he doesn't let him
Well,
actually.
no, he does not let him in.
The army
It
is
was
like,
kind
we
of
have allegiance to him more than we do to the Blackfish, so we're gonna let him in anyways.
yeah, because he's technically the true lord
Yeah,
of the castle
yeah,
and of the Tullys. So like he doesn't listen to the Blackfish, even though the Blackfish is like the military support basically.
yeah. And also
So yeah,
in that scene with Edmure, really quickly, I love how Jamie was like, the things we do for love, which is exactly what
because
he
he says that in
said.
the first episode.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's true.
oh,
I didn't even
connection.
know. I didn't even notice that he'd said it the first time. Like I didn't even notice that he said it this episode, but I do remember exactly what he said when he
Yeah.
threw
As soon as
Ben
he
out the
pushes Bran
window.
out the window, he says the things we do for love.
Yeah,
So,
that's
anyways,
crazy. Yeah, that's
so Edmure
crazy.
walks in, and then like the troops, like whatever, they kneel, and then at the same time, Brienne and Pod are like escaping from like the side like passageway through the river, and they're like to the
Mhm.
Blackfish like, come with us, which I don't understand because like it's only one guy, so like what's the point? Like his army's not there anymore.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
what were they gonna do?
exactly.
Just like go back to Tansa with like one guy? Like what was the point of that? I didn't get it. And
Yeah,
he's like,
I
no,
don't.
no, no. He's like, I'm not coming. He's like, I'm gonna die here. He's like, I
I
haven't had a
think
sword fight in so long. He's like, let me just
yeah,
like die here. And she's like, all right, whatever.
like Battle of Riverrun, my freaking butt.
Yeah,
Honestly, we
no,
were
I'm
waiting for
telling you,
this
like it
battle to
was a
happen,
really,
and
really big
it
waste. Like it was
it was
so
just
cheese. So basically, what happens is like the Blackfish goes back into the castle, and then it cuts to Jamie with like another soldier, and Jamie's like, bring the Blackfish to me. The soldier's like, oh, he's dead. You're like,
yeah.
what?
It
Like,
was
I'm glad they didn't show it because I'm like, I don't really care, but like, it was
yeah.
so quick.
No, but even like the whole battle, there was no Battle of
Oh, there was no
Riverrun. It was a
battle at
freaking
all. Yeah, they
surrender.
just walked
Freaking
in.
Edmure was just like, let them take over. That's the end of
Yeah,
that. They
yeah,
literally brought banners. Brought fucking Lannister banners that were like, brr, 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 like
yeah,
falling down. I was like,
yeah.
really, guys? That was so unnecessary.
And then they had the cheesiest moment, probably like of this. Honestly, for me, the cheese moment of the series. Like, it was so freaking cheesy.
You
Jamie's
know
like
what would
on
have
the
made it more?
balcony. Jamie's like on the balcony, and like Brienne's like and Pot are like rowing down this river, like in the middle of the night. And then like Brienne looks back, and like Jamie sees her from like from the freaking balcony, and no one else is outside. 800 men, and
Yeah,
they're all
exactly.
inside. And then like Jamie like sees her, and like he doesn't like call his like boys to like kill her. He like waves at her, and like she waves back, and that's it.
Like the only thing that would have made that cheesier is if they both had lighters. Like basically,
Yeah. No, man, it was so cheese.
it
Like,
was so
please.
cheesy.
I honestly feel
Holy.
like there was a few goodbye moments in this episode, even with Tyrion and Varys. It almost felt like that was their last goodbye.
Yeah, which
Like,
kind of like
it made
worried.
me
Like
feel some type of way. I was like, oh my
for
God.
sure,
I'm
for
like, why
sure.
is the music like the sad music? Like, is this the
Super
last
epic.
time they're
Yeah.
gonna see each other?
Yeah,
And
maybe.
I think for Brienne and Jamie, I think it definitely is, like for sure.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
like where their journeys like finish together at
Yeah.
least, right?
And like we didn't talk about the fact that when they were together, she wanted to give back his sword, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "No, that sword is yours, and it was always yours."
Yeah,
So that was a very sweet moment
right.
because
Because like if
she's
he
holding this
dies,
like,
then like he doesn't have it.
yeah, yeah. But I'm assuming that he's not thinking he's gonna die. He's like living out his life with
Yeah,
his
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
sister.
But they wouldn't leave like a Valerian sword with someone who's gonna die. So,
True.
anyways, okay. So we leave. So that's the end for Jamie and Brienne. Then we go to the Riverlands really quickly because we see the Hound, who's like on his revenge thing, and he like kills
He's like
like all these
on that tip.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he basically kills like the guys that killed the entire pack, but in doing so, he meets Beric Dondarrion and the Brotherhood Without Banners, who are the guys that like came back from the dead, basically, who we
And
saw
you know
like
what's
seasons
funny?
ago.
Because like when it happened last episode where like the band of brothers like murder that whole like town that the Hound was in, I was almost shocked when I found out that it was them because I was like, I don't remember them being like
Yeah, so they were like,
ruthless bandit.
yeah, so they were traitors,
And
those
then you
guys.
yeah, and then you find out that those guys were like kind of they rogued out and they like
Yeah,
did their own thing.
yeah. So then,
So they got
so
punished by the like blind guy.
yeah, so then like Sandor Clegane gets like his moment to like kill two of them. What was the what? Why was that important? Like, why do you think they put that in there?
I think I don't know. I feel like it just shows that he well, for one, he wasn't able to kill them the way he had kind of like envision killing them, which is basically like ripping their guts out because
Yeah.
he's such a ruthless asshole. But so I think it showed that he has to like kind of control his own, anger and his own frustrations because like now he needs to like like abide by like the rules of man again. It's
Mm-hmm.
like it's kind of like reintroducing him into like some sort of systematic society where like this band of brothers, they have like a code, they have like a
Yeah.
system where like he was always like this ruthless dog, like literally he was called a hound.
Do you
So
think
like he's
he's gonna join their brotherhood?
100%. Like, so they
Aw.
had that conversation after, and I feel like he fits perfectly with them, and his storyline, like ending with them or like continuing on with them,
And
like
like even
makes the
putting
most
on
sense.
that guy's shoes, I was like, aw.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's taking over like a new
Yeah.
role for himself, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool because he came literally out of the ashes, out of death, and he's gonna like, find a bigger purpose for himself, which
Yeah.
is like
So cool.
awesome.
So that's Clegane, and then we go to Marine, and
Yeah,
uh, this was okay. Like it wasn't amazing. Varys leaves on a secret mission. We don't really know what he's gonna do. And then
right.
Tyrion's like, okay, bye. And it was really sad. I was like about to cry.
And like, yeah, it's exactly what you said, and it's a good thing that you mentioned it because it did seem like almost like a farewell
Final go.
moment
Yeah, like
because
the camera stayed on him
he
like
was,
walking out for like a few seconds.
yeah,
Like that was
with
a
like
weird thing.
yeah, it was very like jarring to see it that way. And now that you mention it, I was like, oh yeah, that was kind of, yeah, it was kind of
Yeah.
like foreboding.
So then Tyrion goes back upstairs and he's like drinking with like Grey Worm and Missandei, and like they're just like cracking jokes. I don't know. It's another waste scene. I'm sorry. Like I was like, okay,
But I feel like
go
I
move
literally
on.
feel like we've seen this already.
Yeah, they
Like
they
we've
did
seen,
it. How many episodes when like he was like, do you know what wine is or whatever? Like he was
yeah.
like telling
But this
whatever.
time they're like, yeah, it just like it was so unnecessary for them to show that again. Like it took you guys like 30 days to bond, and
Yeah,
like now you guys can crack jokes at each
I was
other. Like good for
so over
you.
it. And then all of a sudden, the Masters ships were in the harbor. Is that what happened? Like they were attacking the
Yeah,
city.
yeah.
So the Master ships come back, and Grey Worm's like, "See, I told you, like we effed up really hard." And their masters are like attacking the city, whatever. And then they hear something like outside the balcony, and who goes
So
out
they
there?
all
Like
like
Grey
grab their
Worm.
knives and stuff because
Yeah,
they're being
they're
attacked.
like, "Oh ish, someone's here." And then obviously it's
Sure enough.
Khaleesi.
And the music plays like din like it's her freaking theme
Uber cheese
song.
again, another cheesy moment. It was she
Okay,
literally like
and this
glides in, and like her dragon just like dips. He's like bye.
yeah,
I'm
like
like,
in the
where is he
background,
going?
like if you ever wondered like how she got there, he basically like
He
Ubered her
dropped her
over.
off.
Like,
He Ubered her to her balcony. It's like, thanks,
yeah.
bro. You were missing for like a year. Like, what are these dumbass dragons, man?
She just like glided
She
in
literally
too. She's
glided in.
like,
She's like, And then
and
they're
then she's
like,
like,
oh
did someone
shit.
say my
We
name?
fucked.
She was
They're
like
like,
passing out
yeah.
limit.
Like, because it's like the worst time for her to walk in because she's like, why are there 800 ships outside bombing our city? The hell did you guys do? And they're like, we were turning up.
We're
Fucking
super
idiots.
drunk right
They're
now.
all idiots. Varys should have stayed and Tyrion should have left. Oh, so dumb. So yeah, so
So
she
funny.
doesn't really say anything. She kind of just gives them like a cut eye, and then like the scene like ends there.
Okay, so this is my thing. This is what the issue that I had with this particular scene. Like, love Dany, love her like storyline, love that she's like girl power. She's coming through. She's always been our hero. Whatever, that's fine. She just came in at literally the most perfect moment humanly possible, and it was just like, all right, we get it. You're the fucking queen. We get it. You're coming. You're coming through. Like, it was just so perfect of a
It was
moment
too
for her to just like
perfect.
come in with her freaking like curled hair and like her freaking
Yeah.
like flawless like Beyonce fan behind her. Like it was just so
Like who did your hair?
unnecessarily like
Dario? Who was doing your hair that
yeah.
whole time?
I'm not joking. Like she had like
Yeah, it was a little cheese. No, not a little. It was a lot of cheese. It was way too like perfect timing. Like
I mean it was good that it happened because I was like okay finally
yeah.
she's like she wasn't gonna wait with her freaking Dothraki like to get there.
And
So
like my mom made a good point because she was like, "Why did the dragon just dip? Like, why didn't the dragon like burn the boats in the harbor? Like, he just left."
no, I mean I think that's what's gonna happen. She's gonna have to like call him back or to be
Yeah,
like yo just like take this down
yeah,
please.
yeah, yeah.
You know what's funny? I thought that it was actually like the girl, what's her name, Theon Greyjoy, and his
Yeah,
sisters
I
like
thought it
ships
was them
coming.
too, for sure.
And then I was like, really,
I was
it's
like,
flavors.
sick. I'm like, they're here. And then like they start bombing. I'm like, oh shit, that's not them.
That's that's not
That's not them. So we get into Bravos for the final scene, and
yeah.
Arya's like lying in bed. She wakes up after she's been like passed out, and Lady Crane's like, this. I don't know. The scene felt really weird from right from the get go. I was like, oh god. Lady Crane's like in the living room ish area, and like she's like reaching for
I guess she's like
something.
getting like more like milk of the coffee or
Yeah.
something.
And then like the door like opens and like that dumbass bitch is like standing in the doorway with her stupid like
Yeah.
haircut and her dumbass face. And she's like she doesn't say anything.
She
She's
really
so
is Becky. She
ugly.
didn't have a name, so like I called it when I said like Becky with the good hair. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, I mean not
with the
good
shit
hair, but yeah.
good hair.
So she's basically there. She kills Lady Crane right there. And then how does Arya hear? Does she
Yeah.
hear like kerfuffle from the living room?
So she sees Lady Crane dead on the floor, and then it pans over to Becky, who's like at the door still, and she's like, the No Face God needed a face, and they got the face, and now they need another face. And basically, she looks at Arya, and then Arya literally jumps out a window.
Yeah, she like fly, and I'm waiting for this moment because obviously I saw in the previews that she's like flying over buildings. So she jumps
Yeah.
out of the window, she jumps over the balcony, she comes crashing to the floor, and now begins like one of the craziest chases probably in the entire series. It was really,
Yeah, for
really
sure.
like really entertaining. I was like on
So
the edge of
intense.
my
Yeah.
seat. I was like, oh my god. So they
It was
run
like
through
parkour,
like
parkour.
yeah, they run through all these alleyways. They go crashing into like fruit trays and like all these things.
She like fell down
Yeah,
like
man.
like flight of
Oh,
stairs and probably hit every single like fruit markets like
man. My
baskets.
stomach
Like
was hurting that entire time. I was like, "Oh god, I can like feel that pain." Like cuz she kept falling
yeah.
like
At the same time, like, how can you like kick any less baskets? Like you literally sprawl your whole body over. Everybody's like, "What the fuck, girl?"
and no one wants to help. This is what I don't understand. Like not one person's like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" They're just like, "What are
Yeah.
you doing?" And then so she runs, her bandages like come open so she's bleeding again. And then she starts like slowing down the pace. She like goes into like these like alleyways and she starts like I right away booked her. I was like, okay, she's like planning something. She has something in her sights. Right away I was like, it has to end here. Like this can't keep going on. She's not going to escape. She's going to have to kill her at this point. And so she starts like marking the walls with
Yeah.
like her blood and she sort of leads the waif into like her little like home area which wasn't
So she did do that on. She did do that on purpose then.
it was all it was a setup because I don't know if you remember last episode, remember how it finished with her blowing out that candle.
The one before she got stabbed. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like,
So
what room is
that was
she
like
in,
the
like
place that she
where?
was supposed to be.
Right, so then like she leads the waif back into that little area and then the waif's like, now I got you, like let's just end this here, like I'm gonna kill you. And Arya like has her little needle like under the carpet and she's like, I don't know what she says. She says
She's
something
like,
like cool.
oh no, I think she just pulls it out, and then the girl's like, "That's not gonna save you."
Yeah.
And
And then like such a
ooh,
cool way to do it. Arya like takes her knife out and she slashes the candle out and it goes pitch black. And I'm like,
yeah,
"Yes, queen. Like you know how to fight in the dark." That was the only way. Anyway, so then it cuts to the next scene and we're in the house of black and white. And then like
yeah,
Jaqen, I think he like strolls up to the thing, to the little like area.
yeah. He sees like I guess like a trail of blood, and he's
Oh
like,
yeah,
"What
yeah,
the
yeah.
hell?"
Yeah. He's like, a girl is on her period. And then he basically sees the waif's head all bloody, like on like the little display case. And then Arya's like, bitch, I did it. She's
Yeah,
like, I
she's
won.
like, "Why did you tell her to come kill me?" He's like, "Well, what else did you expect?"
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah. And then
and so
she's
and then
basically like,
basically
she's like, he's like,
he
oh, he's
congratulates
like,
her.
finally a
Just
girl is
he's
no
like,
one. And she's like, a girl is Arya Stark of Winterfell. And I'm going home. I was like, choosh.
yeah, literally exactly what she said. Yes, girl, finally.
But it was really
So he
cute because like
basically
he was
does,
happy kind of. Like he wasn't like he wasn't mad at all. He was like, you go girl, like go on your journey. Like this
yeah.
is what had
He
to
was probably,
and I almost feel
yeah.
like when as soon as he told the waif, like now you can go kill her, I feel like that's when he knew that Arya was ready to kill her. You know?
Mm. this was going to be her final test if she
Yeah,
wasn't going to
like
be able to
because
come
I feel
through
like
for.
he wouldn't lead her to die. I feel like he really had her back, and I think he only finally made that decision to kill her like when he was like she's good now. Like she knows how to fight. She can hold her own. And if she does, then like that's even better. Kind of thing, you know?
Right, right, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
I felt they
We were
accelerated her storyline quite a bit though.
towards
Like I
the
felt like
end. Towards the end for
they
sure.
they really pushed a lot of things out, which left a lot of, I think, the audience, like at least me personally, I was like questioning a lot of what's happening. Like even when she got stabbed last episode, I was like, wait, did that actually happen? Like, why is everything happening so quickly? But I'm glad that they kind of accelerated because even though it was an important thing to see her kind of go through the finality of her journey at Bravos, it also like shows it in a very like fast way. Like we get it
And
done.
I'm
We
and
get it
I'm
done.
glad that like I remember we talked about this a few episodes ago in our podcast, and you were like, even if she kills the waif, like they're gonna want to kill her. Like they're still gonna want to kill Arya. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, true. Like what if like it doesn't end there? But I'm glad that they didn't do that. Like I'm glad that Jaqen was like, girl, go on your way. Like
And I
you're
think
cool. And they ended it
and I
off
think
like
that's
that. Like
why
they didn't,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
House
and
of
I think
Black
that's
and
why
White
she
aren't bad people. They're just like they have a certain mission and that's it.
and I think that's why she went back to the House of Black and White to like tell him that like stop following me, like I'm going
Well,
home, like leave me
technically,
alone.
technically, all he needed was a body. He's like, I just had to like equal out the numbers basically. Like she's like, I gave you
Yeah,
someone, I gave you no one. Like that's it. Like now
true.
my like debt is paid. So
True. Yeah, that's true.
and then basically that's what happens. That's how it closes out, right?
That's the end of the episode. It was a cool, like powerful
Yeah, yeah,
final
yeah, for
episode.
sure.
Especially considering how slow the rest of the episode was.
Yeah, so just quickly, like during our predictions right now, as we go into predictions, do you think we're gonna see her again before season's end?
Unless she bumps into another character like last minute, I don't think so. I think like
Mm-hmm.
it was a really nice way to kind of close her up because there's so many other characters we have to finish up anyhow. So like I'm okay to like let her be for the rest of the season.
Yeah, this is sort of like how she ended off season 4, where she was on the ship going to Bravos. So it's kind of like
Mm.
ending off with her journey. This is sort of maybe ending off for her journey for now, and then next season maybe she's already back in Westeros. Like who knows, right?
When people like catch up, yeah, everybody
Yeah,
else needs to catch up, I think, at this point.
yeah, and that's yeah. So, so predictions. So what do you think? I don't know. Who do
For
you want
okay,
to
let's
talk
go
about
through some of
first?
the major characters. I want to talk about Cersei, like what her fate will be now that she can't fight with a mountain.
Cersei's fate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think
So do
she's
you think she's
dead.
gonna? I
I
think
think
she's
I think
toast.
she
I
was
think she's
dead either
toast.
way. Like whether she had the combat or whatever. Like I think she's gonna die.
Yeah, but I think like even
I
hearing
don't
it
know if it's gonna.
today,
I don't know if it's
like
gonna happen by the end of the season, though. To be honest,
I mean, I feel like they should because
I
like
think
two
yeah,
episodes.
I think it should,
I think
because
the season finale is gonna be super long too. I think it's gonna be like 2 hours long or
no,
something.
no, it's like 69 minutes. It's not that. It's not like as long as people are like thinking it
Okay,
is. So
70 minutes is pretty long.
yeah, but
That's
people are
nice.
like 90 minutes. I'm like, what? And it's not 90 minutes. Um,
Okay, fine, fine. You can
but
fit a lot in 20 minutes for sure.
uh, the episode 9 is gonna be all about the bastards. So maybe in the
Oh,
tenth
that was happening.
episode, it'll be about Cersei.
King's Landing.
Maybe, yeah,
That's fair.
yeah. But also, the last episode is called "The Winds of Winter," so it doesn't really sound like it's very King's Landing-y, you know? It's like maybe in the north.
Or maybe it's like the larger picture, aka like the White Walkers coming through.
Yeah.
So we'll
Uh,
see about that. But I don't know. What do you think about like what like I love that you picked up the fact that like Jamie had said the things we do for love because I feel like whenever they do repetition, there's always like a meaning behind it.
yeah. I mean, I think
Love?
that whole scene with him and Edmure, and how he's like, "I'll do anything for Cersei." Like, I don't think they're gonna see each other. I think this is it for them. Like, someone either Jamie's gonna die or she's gonna die. Like, they're not gonna come back to each other.
Yeah, like and it just goes to show like he does all these extreme things. Like in the first episode when he pushes Bran out the window for the things that he does for love, like it literally started a war. And for him to like defeat the Blackfish at Riverrun, this is also gonna like ignite something even more fierce, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I feel like the significance of Riverrun needs to be bigger than
And you know
what
what?
it ended
You're
being.
very right, because also in talking about Riverrun, have you noticed since he's been there, every single person's like Kingslayer, Kingslayer, Kingslayer. Like when he's at King's
Right.
Landing, nobody can talk to him like that because he's obviously like such a high person there. But when he's in the north, they don't give a shit. They're like,
Yeah.
you stabbed a king in the back. And to
Yeah.
the northerners,
They
like
don't
that's a
forget
big
about those
thing.
things.
Yeah, they don't, the north remembers, like they don't forget.
Yeah.
So I also feel like that might come into play. Like I don't know. They keep
Maybe.
mentioning
Maybe.
it, and I almost feel like it's always been with him his whole journey through this entire show. He's the Kingslayer.
As much as he's tried to shake it off and
Yeah,
become a different
no.
person, it's like always come back to
Yeah.
him. That's
And that
true.
might
Yeah.
maybe, that might maybe be his like end all. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
To
But
be
I think
honest,
that's pretty much.
I'm ready for him to die. Like if he died, I'd be like, okay, cool.
I would be very. I just really want to know like how it's gonna happen because I feel like that they set up his character so well and he has such a like diverse and like interesting backstory that like I'd love to see like how how like
I think
George R. like
If Edmure
ties
can
it all
kill
together.
him, that would be crazy. Like if Edmure kills him before he leaves Riverrun, like that's gonna be psycho.
That would be like a twist of
Yeah,
events
because
for
I feel
sure.
like everyone right now is like, "Damn you, Edmure, you let them in." But I also feel like he's gonna go buck wild and he's gonna kill him and maybe end up killing himself in the process. But I feel like he doesn't care.
That would be
Like
nice
Jamie
because
killed
I
his
feel like
entire
Edmure
family.
is like so useless. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's true because if you look back into like 2 episodes ago when like Cersei says what she says, she's like, "I have the mountain, so I'm gonna be fine." Like so basically like in a few episodes ago when she says like I have the mountain, you like go to Riverrun and you like go kick ass, like we'll be fine. Don't worry about me, don't worry about you. You're gonna come back to me and we're gonna like reign King's Landing again. Like shit's just hitting the fan for them. Like and for him to like win it so easily and so
yeah.
quickly, it's just
You
like
know something's gonna happen for
shit's
sure.
gonna go down. Yeah. It was too easy. Too easy.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. But like, what do you think's gonna happen next week? The Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah, I didn't watch the previews, but yeah, that sounds really interesting. I think that, obviously Jon Snow and company are gonna have to come through and they're gonna like get rid of this fucking like bastard guy
I
because
wonder
he's
how it's gonna happen because the last time we left off with them, they weren't even ready to fight him yet. Like they didn't have a full
that's
army.
true.
So I'm curious to
They're
see
still
how the
not ready.
episode's gonna start. Like where is it gonna start from? Is John just gonna go attack them? Like
We still also know that Sansa has sent a secret letter to Littlefinger, so we know
yeah,
that that's like on its way to like, help a brother out or help a
yeah.
sister out.
I really hope that they don't come through at the last second because I'm gonna be like Uber cheese moment once again. If they're gonna
Yeah, it
show
was
up, they should show up before the war starts and they have an equal playing field, not like in the middle. Like when
yeah, I
Stannis did
agree.
that with the wildlings, I was like, that's so cheese.
Yeah, that's so true. It's so
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes, but I'm excited. I hope the next 2 episodes like are action packed and filled with a lot of like finish off
I
moments
mean, it
because
has to be at this point. It has to be.
yeah,
They
absolutely.
honestly wasted episode 8 and it was really lame.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. We got Arya's moment out,
Arya's
so that was
moment,
good.
Brienne got her moment. I think Brienne and Jamie said bye for the last time. I truly believe that because
Yeah, I agree.
especially him being like, you have to keep the sword, like it's yours. I was like, oh okay, like there's something behind that.
It's
Like it's a
over.
goodbye.
It's over for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I think that's it for this
Yeah,
week.
I think
I
that's it.
can't wait for next week because in the
I'll
you're back
be
on the
back.
couch.
I'll be back on the couch and we'll be doing this in
And I feel
person
like we're
for
gonna
some of the
have
weeks.
something big to say next week because it's gonna be off the hook.
It's gonna be epic for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All
Okay,
right,
guys,
guys.
that's it. Comment below, like our video if you think we're funny or not.
Okay, cool.
Bye.
Peace. Bye.